welcome to the Chris Wolfe Podcast on iCode Media. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different, and I want to tell you that up front so nobody's trying to find an angle. There isn't one. This isn't going to turn into an eye care metaphor or a business ownership metaphor. It's not going to be me forcing a tidy takeaway. It's not going to be one of those moments where we take something really heavy and then slap a professional bow on it. That's not what I'm trying to do. Actually, I'm saying this out loud because I'm tempted, like we all are often, to do those types of things and to turn everything into a lesson and to make it useful, to make it fit. But that's not what I want to do today. I just want to recommend something that I listened to that I think you should listen to as well. It's an episode of Uncommon Knowledge hosted by Peter Robinson at the Hoover Institute, titled Basketball in the Last 60 Seconds, Ben Sasse on Mortality, Meaning, and the Future of America. And yes, former U.S. Senator Ben Sasse is the guest. Now, if you heard the words Senator and you felt your shoulders get a little tighter, I understand. If you're thinking, I'm already tired, I get it. If politics aren't your favorite and it's the reason that you stopped watching, news often and you want to have some reprieve in something else, then that's fine. But stay with me on this because while there is some politics near the beginning of the episode, the reason I'm bringing this to you isn't political. And I'm asking you not to agree with him or like him or, wish that you would have voted for him. None of that. I'm asking you to listen to a man talk like a human being when his time is no longer theoretical. Here's the basic context. Ben Sasse announced in December 2025 that he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And this conversation was recorded just last week. And before you even react to that, let me say something very carefully. We all know our time is finite. We know it like we know that we should brush our teeth and floss. Hopefully we know it like we should wash our eyelids. But we know it to our, deep down. We know we're not getting off of this earth alive. Intellectually, it's there, absolutely. But emotionally and functionally, most days, I don't think we really live like there is this kind of real ticking clock. We know it's there, but it's not urgent. We don't live with that urgency. We understand death is coming, but it feels like it's coming for somebody in the future, like a future us. The version of us that will eventually get around to reflection right after we clear the inbox, right after we survive the schedule, after we get through the next season of whatever. And then something happens. It's not always dramatic. It's not always climactic, but something that forces a person to stop living like time is abundant. That's what this episode is. It's a conversation with somebody who isn't guessing anymore. And what you get if you listen long enough, and I would encourage you to listen long enough, what you get is a rare glimpse into what many of us never get access to. An articulate, thoughtful person talking about things like mortality, faith, family, forgiveness, regret, praying, suffering, and what it means to redeem the time when the runaway might be short. So I want to emphasize what I'm not saying. I'm not saying this is a roadmap for how to feel. I'm not saying it's the correct theology or the correct philosophy, or really that anything is correct. I agree with a lot of what he's saying, but that's not the point. What I think the point is that it's honest. It feels really honest. And it's really rare. Most public figures speak in a way that's optimized for applause and for headlines and for safety and brand protection, plausible deniability. We parse our words. I do this as a lecturer. I've learned over the years that and this is thousands and thousands of hours of me speaking in front of audiences. I've learned that if I hedge my bets just the right way, I can minimize the uncertainty among my audience. This isn't that. This is a man speaking with fewer reasons to perform. The title, Basketball in the Last 60 Seconds, is memorable. It's a great hook. But I don't want you to overthink it. The last 60 seconds idea becomes a metaphor for what happens when everything speeds up and slows down at the same time. When you realize the clock is running, but also somehow you can suddenly see more clearly. And in the back half of the episode, the conversation opens up into the things that we all claim to care about, but often avoid sitting and grappling with. What do you regret? What does forgiveness cost? How do you love your family when you're not sure how much time you have left? What does it mean to suffer well, or really just suffer honestly? How do you pray when the outcome isn't under negotiation? And it is not a motivational episode. It's not a pep talk. It doesn't feel like someone trying to sell me optimism. It feels like someone trying to tell me the truth. And I think that's why it hit me the way it did. Even though I'm not going to turn this into a how it impacted me segment, that's not the point. The point is, you should listen for yourself. Because even if you disagree with him on 10 things or 50 things, this episode isn't really about agreement. It's about exposure. It's about getting a window into the kind of conversation that most of us only have in private, maybe late at night, maybe not at all. And if you're anything like me, busy, trying to be responsible, moving fast, it's easy to go months without hearing anyone speak this plainly about things that actually really do matter. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a link in the show notes to Basketball in the Last 60 Seconds from Uncommon Knowledge. No sponsors. I've got no skin in the game other than I hope that you listen. My recommendation is simple. If you don't like politics, start it anyway and keep going until the conversation turns, because it does turn. And if the kind of person that listens and don't like anything longer than 5 minutes, then honestly, just put it on for a drive or a walk or run. Just let it go. Listen to it. You don't need to take notes. You don't need to extract action items. Just listen. Because it's a rare thing to hear someone talk about being a man, about being a husband, a father, a friend, while staring straight into the reality that most of us keep comfortably blurry. And that's it. No pivot. No, and therefore in your practice, just go listen. The link's in the show notes. I'll see you next time.